Businesses doesn't need more salespeople. They need better systems. Founders spend 10 to 15 hours a week on LinkedIn, Googling, prospecting, researching, drafting emails, and cold outreach. What if I tell you that 80% of that can be automated by AI without hiring another SDR? In this video, I will show you how to save 10 to 15 hours a week on sales tasks by building an AI automated system that finds, researches, and reaches out to leads. Okay, so let's see what the current way is and what are the main problems with it. The way I came to this conclusion is that I've been managing global projects for the last 10 years in different industries such as finance, healthcare, IT, and I also have experience in software development and DevOps engineering. In these videos, I'm trying to bring these two worlds together and find the business problems and needs and how we can solve that with the help of AI automation and AI integration. Okay, so there are two main ways to do sales tasks in an early stage company. So one of them is manual prospecting, right? And another one is hiring salespeople early. Okay, so what are the difficulties and problems with these two approaches? So with manual prospecting, we're spending at least 10 to 15 hours a week. And I think that is a low estimate on different sales tasks. Another problem with that is it is slow. So we're spending 10 to 15 hours, maybe we are sending out 100, maybe 200 cold outreach emails. And it's also really inconsistent, right? Because we're doing the research maybe on different days, maybe we are getting different data, we are in different mood when we are writing the emails. So it can be really inconsistent. We can use different AI tools just for writing, such as ChatGPT, but still it can be pretty inconsistent, right? The other way is hiring salespeople early. So the problem with that is it is pretty expensive. So hiring a sales rep, we would obviously have a base pay and also commission, which will eat off our profit margin. And also what research found is that sales reps only spend 28% of their time actually selling, right? So that doesn't mean that the rest of the time, that 72%, is not worth doing, but they spend a lot of time with outreach, with research, with prospecting, finding the leads, right? So the prep work takes a lot of time to prepare those kinds of leads where they can actually do the selling, right? So what we are trying to do here is save that 10, 15 hours that we are spending on researching and make sure that this 28% can go up to the 30, 40, 50% range to make sure that their time is actually making us money. Okay, so now that we clarified what the problem is and what the goal is, let's see what the solution would be. Later in this video, I will show you this exact automation in A10 and how we can get from setting our ICP to actually sending a custom email to a lead. So let's see how this AI system works, because as I said, most small businesses doesn't need a bigger sales team. They need a system that behaves like one. The first step would be for our AI automation is to set the ICP. So who's our ideal customer? We set the title, we set which country is it from. We are preparing ourselves to scrape the leads, okay? Scraping the leads, what does that mean? We're using an API from Apollo that is scraping leads that has different kinds of informations that we need. For example, obviously their names, their title, their LinkedIn header, LinkedIn URL. We have the company website. We have a lot of information about the company. And once we scraped our leads, we prepare them, we gonna add them to our CRM or database. In today's video, I'm just gonna use Google Sheets just as an example, but obviously you can hook it up with HubSpot, Salesforce, Instantly, whichever CRM you use. So once we're added our leads to the CRM, then we're going on to research. So research actually has two main parts. The first one is going to be personal research, and the other one is going to be company research. So we're going to do a personal research on our lead, and we're also going to do a research about the company. All that information is going to help us to write the custom message. Okay, so the custom message going to take in every information from the personal research, every information from the company research, and every information we already had when scraping that lead. Okay, so once we have our custom message, we filled out all the important fields in our CRM about our lead. So the next step is actually human interference, right? So we're going to have a lot of leads in our database with research behind them and a custom message that we would like to send. But that has to be reviewed. So we're going to go into our CRM in our database and we're going to have a lot of leads in the status, let's say draft, right? So we're going to go in the database and we are going to check it. We're going to read the messages, maybe do some adjustment or just approve it as it is. So once it's done, we're going to have, let's say out of 100, we're going to have 90, 95 approved. So we're going to have an automation that's going to check that table, let's say every morning. And every morning, if we have approved status leads, is going to send out these custom messages that we had there, let's say 50 a day. You can set it however you want. And then the system ran, we sent out the email, and that's the end of the process. So we went from setting our ICP to sending out a custom message in just a few steps, and the only interference we needed to do, the only time we had to spend with it, is to actually do a custom check that is done. So let's see in N8N how this automation is actually working. What is the input? What are the outputs? What are the steps? And how it's working? And how an actual custom message looks like. Okay, so this is our automation in N8N, and it has 4 main parts. Let's go over them. So the first part is going to be, as I said, we're going to set our ICP, which is in today's case is going to be founder or owner, let's say in Germany and the Netherlands, right? So we set these informations. We also set the about us part. I just made up a company name, also some about us section, my email address, and then a booking link, right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to have an example table, a leads table template for today that's going to have all the important headers that we need. And then we're going to move on and create a table, create a URL, and then scrape the leads from Apollo. I'm using this Apollo scraper from Epify that's generating great outcomes so far for me. I used it for scrape more than 15,000 leads so far. So I can absolutely recommend it. So once we created them, we're going to limit it to 10 because it has 500 items as outcome. And we're not going to wait in today's video to actually import the 500. We're going to just do it with 10 just as an example. So then we're going to add them to the sheet. The next step is we're going to take all those items and send it through a ChatGPT node. So we're going to ask for a summary about how many items were added. Did we find any inconsistencies? Do we have any duplications? Do we have any problems? Are we ready to actually send a custom message? Do we have enough information? So it's going to send us a message in Telegram, and we're going to have to either accept or decline to move forward. And once we accept, because it says that we have enough information, then we move on, we get the leads, and then we also put a limit on it, just so we don't have to do the whole custom messaging and custom research for all 10 leads. We're going to do it for 2, just once again, as an example. So then once we're done with setting up the scraping, getting the leads, and then going through a validation and adding them, then we're going to move on to actually doing the research and custom message. So we're going to move on to do a personal research based on the person's name, email address, and LinkedIn URL. Once we're done with that, we're going to get the company's About Us page and references page, get the information from there, and hand it over to ChatGPT to do a company research. And once we're done with that, we're going to take a service doc. So what is the service doc in this instance? We made up an accounting company in ChatGPT, and this is what the service doc contains. So it contains different services that the actual accounting company does. What problems do they solve? When is it relevant? The key roles we work with, the KPIs we help improve, typical results clients have, proven examples, and how we start. What is our guarantee? And what are the keywords, right? So we do that for every service this fake accounting company does. So why is this important? You will see when we do the custom messages that we're trying to find the pain points that target lead has and find our service that would be best fit. And we are trying to sell that service to that lead. Okay, so that's exactly what we do in the personal message field. And once we're done with that, we are updating our leads table with the personal, company research, and then the personal message. And once we're done with all that, then we'll move on to the scheduled segment. That's what I said. You can do every morning, every afternoon, whatever you feel best is the best for your niche. I would do, let's say, every morning, 8:30, before they, jump into tasks and meetings. And then we'll get the rows that have been approved. And once we have those, we move on. We create a subject line for the email. My actual idea about this is to do a 2-word subject line. So it's easy to distinguish between the regular emails and this one. And then once we do that, we actually send out the email. This is the entire automation, how it works. So once again, we set the ICP, we scrape the leads, add them to the table, ask ChatGPT to check it if we are ready to move on to research. Once we approve it in Telegram, we go through to the personal research, company research, custom message based on the service doc, and then update the field. Once we updated everything, then we go into our database, we read through the custom emails, we approve them. Once we have everything approved, every morning this automation will run, get the approved leads, and then we'll go on, set a subject line, and then send the email. So let's see how it works in real time. Okay, so as I said, we set our ICP to founder, owner. Let's also add CEO, and then we added Germany and Netherlands. Okay, so let's run the automation and let's see what we get. Okay, so we just received the message. We added 10 items. Do we have empty fields? Yes, we do. Estimated revenue, short description, SEO description, market cap. Okay, these are not heavily essential fields. For example, if we would have email or anything that important missing, that would be a bigger problem, or company email address or company website. Do we have irregularities? Yes, number of employees is 0 for some organizations. That can happen. Not all companies have that information available. And short description, SEO description also. Okay, duplications, no. What is the top industry? IT technologies, services, yeah. Top country, Germany. Enough info for custom message, yes, great. Then we approve it. And then once we approved it, it's already moving on and doing the personal research, company, and then personal message. So let's jump back once it's done. Okay, let's see what our result is. So we see that the actual table was created in our Google Drive folder. Once we jump in, we can see that all the data was filled up. All the 10 leads that were researched and scraped are in the database. So what we have here, we have first name, last name, organization name, industry, title, seniority, headline, email. The 3 maybe most important ones are the personal research, company research, and personalized message. Let's check Andreas, who's the founder of Learn Data Engineering. Hi Andreas, so Learn Data Engineering passing 240k subs and 2k plus grads, nice. We have founders cut month-end close by 40 to 60% in 90 days without spreadsheet wrangling, right? So remember, we are an accounting company, so this is why this is our offer, okay? So at Novatech Solutions, our made-up company, we recently delivered an AI-powered product data classification to kill manual tagging. If the month-end close doesn't improve by 30%, in 90 days, we'll re-engineer the workflow for free, right? So this is our guarantee. And then our call to action is book a 15-minute, or is Tuesday or Thursday would be better for you. Best regards, Novatech team, right? So the prompt that wrote this message, that can be adjusted, modified, rewritten by you, however you feel like is best for you. But we're going to say that, great, we're going to approve this post, and the other one is maybe going to be declined because we didn't like it, right? And then let's go to the next step, back to the automation. Okay, so here we have our scheduled node for every morning, 8:30. It's gonna go get all the leads that has the status approved, and then we're gonna move on to write the subject line and send the email. Okay, let's start the automation and check out what the result is. Okay, so it went into the sheet, got the only item that was approved, and then wrote the subject line and sent the email. So this is how the email looks like, exactly as we've seen it in the Google Sheets. Okay, so let's summarize what we just did. We set our ICP, we scraped those leads, we added them to our database, we did the research. Based on the research, we wrote the custom message, then we approved them, and then the email was sent out. That easy, in just a few steps. Okay, so this is the exact way how founders can save 10 to 15 hours a week with just automating and building systems that can behave like sales teams. If you are a founder or an SME owner, these are the exact automations and build-in solutions that you should be considering to save money and save time in your company. So these are the actual systems I built for different companies. So if you like these strategies and want to make sure that you're not missing these informations, make sure to subscribe.